Welcome to today's episode, Wisdom.
Thank you.
So I have the urge not to make it a podcast thing because we've been discussing since, and
Yep.
our conversation was sweet when it was not podcast
Yes.
related. So let's just stick to the conversation as we were
Okay.
conversing.
Okay.
But wait first, before we continue, tell us a little bit about yourself.
You like asking me this question all the time.
Yes, now.
Like same answer. Wisdom is wisdom.
What do you do?
I'm a shoemaker.
You seen as shoemaker. Okay, outside being a shoemaker, what else do you do?
I'm a project manager.
Okay, what else?
I do a lot of things. Anything that brings money, I do. Please. I say everything. Anything
Bring
that brings
deals.
money. Bring market. Even if it's to pack stand, I thought there's money.
That was safe day.
Yes, no. Anywhere there's money, that's what I do.
So what's one lesson that you've learned so far in life? That life has taught you? Not one lesson. What are 3 lessons that you've learned in life so far?
I'm not old though.
I know.
So far, okay. I think I've said this before. Be comfortable about where you are at every moment in life, be it being at the top or being at the bottom. Appreciate it. No. Don't be comfortable.
Okay.
Appreciate wherever you are at the moment.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Appreciate that experience because I feel like it shapes you for the next level you're getting into. Yes, that's one.
So,
2 more. So these places for people that are very intelligent, not for people like us. Second one, be diligent. Be diligent in the smallest of things, and big opportunities will come. Last one. I think this will sound cliche, but what word do is what doing well. So anything you're doing, make sure you do it well.
that sounds very similar to be diligent.
It even sounds similar to the first one.
So,
Appreciate where you are. When you appreciate where you are, you're diligent about it. Right. So I think everything I said, the 3 of them,
shall do your best in
try to do
everything
your
you
best. No
do.
matter what you do, just try. I know you cannot be 100%, but just try.
Just try. Do you have very close friends around you? Do you have a friend that you're falling apart with? Like both of you fell apart?
No.
You don't have?
No, I don't have friends I fall apart with. Like issues made us fall
Yeah.
apart. Nah, I don't.
So, but do you have friends that you stopped speaking with?
Yeah, obviously.
So what made you stop speaking with them?
If our goals don't align anymore, right? So, but for me, I've always been that person who I've had just maybe 2 friends, 3 friends at a time. I don't know how to do more than that. And most of my relationship or friendship, we've always had like goals, similar goals and all of that. Yeah. So when our goals don't align, we are still friends, but friends from distance.
If there was one thing that whoever is watching this was supposed to know about you, this is a serious question. If the person watching this is
Okay.
supposed to know only one thing about you, what would that thing be?
Or that thing be good or bad.
It's left to you. What do you want them to know you as? If you want it to be good, fine. If you want it to be bad,
Okay, there's one thing anybody should know about me is I like God. Though. I'm a church boy. That's the one thing I know I can't do without. That's one thing I know I can't do without. I like God.
that was not what I was expecting.
That's the only that I think that's the one thing that's the most consistent with me.
Oh God.
Yeah, you will always find me in church.
Is it God or church? You know that some people they go church.
Yes,
know
so
the-
I like God. That's how you find me in church.
Okay.
Like I love God. It's my guy. Me, I used to relate and run things. So that's why you always find me in church. So I can never be like I've never been a church goer. I've never been like a normal member in church. Do you understand? I'm always if I'm in church, I'm always part of like the workforce. I'm always active. And also, yeah.
You know, I want to say something. I feel like many times you run away from talking about yourself because you don't want people to put a particular label on you. Is that correct?
Not far from the truth.
Why? Why don't you want to be labeled?
So it's not being labeled, is I've been labeled. So even if you don't want to, people always have like an impression or opinion about you,
Yeah.
right? But I feel like most people that I've come across don't really know who I am.
Why?
I don't know. I think maybe they didn't want to, or
But I literally just told you to express yourself.
and I did. I just told you what's most important to me.
So what else is there to wisdom?
There's a lot. There's a lot that even me I'm discovering about myself. There's a
When
lot.
we were talking the other time, you mentioned that you don't like change.
You want to cast me?
Yes.
It's not like I don't like change. It's not like I don't like change. I just don't like when people are not consistent. In the sense that, man, are we going back to church?
Anyone you want, you can
Okay,
any
so
direction.
if I meet a person, and I think that's why I said, if I meet a person and you give me a certain opinion about you, just say, oh, I don't wear trousers, right? And tomorrow you now want to wear trousers, we'll have a problem.
So what if I wake up tomorrow and I want to wear a skirt?
See, don't say it in a way where you make wearing a trouser look bad, then tomorrow you do it. Do you understand? It's just like all those people that preach, oh, if you wear trouser, you go to hellfire. Then tomorrow, you are not wearing trouser. What's the problem?
So you don't like inconsistent people?
I don't, that's the word. I don't, it's a problem. It's a very big problem.
Has there been somebody that you had issues with, like a very brutal issue with about this?
Yes.
Who was that?
I don't know, she knows herself.
Tell me about it.
So the thing is, okay, past. So I dated the person, and she had her own problem was as bad as she had a problem with ladies wearing any clothes that will show the bra strap.
Okay.
She didn't like it, and she was always ringing it in my ears like I don't like this. So most times, even when we want to go out, and maybe I get her a dress that like has like tiny hand and all that, she won't wear it. She'll complain about it. Long story short, this babe went for a beauty contest, came out, won, and the same thing she doesn't like,
She was
Mama
wearing
was
it.
firing it, and that was the end of the relationship. To God be the glory.
Just inconsistency.
That was
I
it.
see you as a very hardworking man.
I try my best.
And many times, I remember I had a conversation with you, and you were speaking about your dad,
Yeah.
about how your dad has a strong impact in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the role of a father in a man's life is, what do you think about the impact a father has to his son?
So I think I also mentioned that fatherhood has nothing to do with, it's not a title,
Yeah.
it's a responsibility. And a good father, or if a man who understands what fatherhood is, understands the weight of that responsibility. And if you understand the weight of that responsibility, then you know that there's a lot of things, there's a lot of, what's it called, programming and unlearning that you need to do to be able to step into that responsibility. So for my dad, he's not perfect, right? But I took the part of him that I feel like is good, and I left the part I felt like wasn't. So when it comes to someone who is diligent, my dad is a very diligent man. Someone who is hardworking, he is, right? So it's not like my dad is, do you understand?
Perfect.
Yeah, it's not like he's perfect, but there are attributes he has that I felt it was worth emulating. So yeah.
Do you think that these days, do you think we're building men who become great fathers?
It depends. It depends. Because I'm a man in this day. So
True. So what do you mean by
yeah,
it
so
depends?
it depends. So it depends on information. It depends on what that person is running with.
Okay.
I remember when we were talking earlier in a recording that we should have recorded, right? We spoke about this same thing. And my thought process is we're in that space where everything is fast. It is now your choice to decide if you're going to utilize the opportunities we have right now. You can be a good father if you tap into the informations that we have now on what fatherhood is. Do you understand? Because if you stick with what fatherhood was back then, you might not be a good father. Because what fatherhood was back then was provision,
Yeah.
not being present. So we have a lot of absent fathers. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, and right now, there are a lot of informations on Instagram. There are a lot of messages that speaks about fatherhood. There are a lot of motivational speakers. There are a lot of books that talks about how to be a present father. I feel like we don't have present fathers. I feel like many of us never experienced present fathers. We just experienced fathers we provided. And that's not what fatherhood is.
So what is fatherhood?
Fatherhood is a lot of things. That's why I say it's a responsibility. It's not a position. It's a lot of things. You can't be a father and you're not present. And being present has nothing to do with us sitting together. You can be present in your absence, your physical absence.
How is that possible?
Okay, so I can be present in your life, but we're not sitting together,
Yeah.
right? It's me, if it's you feeling my presence when I'm not there, that shows that I'm present. It's easier to pretend that I'm present when we're sitting together.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Than when I'm not there. Have you ever had that friend who, even when they're not there, you still feel their presence?
I stole a jacket.
Do you understand? So, if I'm going to take that to fatherhood has nothing to do with your child seeing you every day. Are you present in that child life where that child can trust you with their deepest secrets? Are you present when that child feels secure around you? Are you present in that child life where that child feels like they can look up to you? Are you present in that child life where that child looks at you as their example of what they want to be as a father? So father is a lot of things. I'm not yet a father, so I cannot stress it.
So, as a young man who is not yet a father, but who has had a father, what do you think that our present generation needs to learn to do better?
Appreciate the past, but move away from the past. Appreciate the knowledge of the past, but move away from it. Appreciate the values of the past, learn it, imbibe it, but don't stick. And I'm going to use the most common sense. There was a time Windows 7 was everything.
Yeah.
Right now, if you're using Windows 7, you're in the past.
Yes.
Do you understand? So appreciate the fact that the fathers back then took provision as a thing.
Yeah, the major responsibility.
But don't stay there. Don't build on just provision. Because this generation of children, or our generation, being present means a lot. Back then, why provision was a thing was because we had a lot of full-time housewife.
Yeah.
So your worth was put on, daddy can put food on the table. Daddy goes out in the morning and come back at night. I know the funny thing that I think there are some people who never even knew their father's real job.
Are there?
Yes, there are some people who never actually knew what their father really made money from.
That's serious.
Yeah, there are people who don't know. where their parents, where their dad, not even their parents, where their dad made his income from. Because there are a lot of fathers that left the house in the morning and came back in the evening.
True. True.
And I paid house rent and school fees, but their children did not even know their fathers.
I think if there's one thing that I'm always grateful for. Okay, so my dad is late, right? But the memories I have of him are little moments of him being present. Like you said, being present. So I think maybe my dad was not the traditional man because, to the best of my knowledge, right? Because I was young when he passed, and even when he passed, he was working. He was not the only man. My mom was also working, so I think, to the best of my knowledge, I think they were putting things together, right? So, but the memories I have of my dad are moments when he was doing something with me, or I remember a day that he was bathing for me. I remember the time that he came to pick me from school. Okay. So it's just moments where my dad was there with me.
So it wasn't that my dad
there was no
provided
provision.
money for us to cook.
No, it was
do you understand?
no
so, but we don't rule out the fact that there were also some fathers who were providing and were still present.
Yes.
Do you understand? In fact, I saw a video 2 days ago of a girl who went to the UK.
Yeah.
She came back. She bought her dad 3 pairs of shoes, a new phone, and the father was blessing her. And while I was watching the video, I told the person who I was watching it with, I said, the only reason why this girl will go out and buy more gifts for the father more than the mom is because that man is very present. And if you watch the video, you see that the lady in question and her father had a great relationship. For me, when I give birth, I want to have 3 girls. You know why?
That's so precise.
Wait, let me tell you why I said I want 3 girls.
Why?
Because you see, daughters tend to tilt more to their father. If you take care of your daughter properly, your daughter will take care of you. Forget guys, all these first 2 sons, forget us. See, let me tell you, sons, we don't have time. Do you understand? We don't have time. You see, daughters, forget it. So, and let me not switch the conversation.
Okay.
Do you understand? Let me not switch the conversation.
Cool.
But from that video, you could tell that the man had a very beautiful relationship with his daughter and with all his kids. All his kids there, you could tell, even with his wife, with that video. Do you understand? So fatherhood is a lot of things. Like you said, your memory of your dad was when he was doing stuff with you. My best memory with my dad was when we were doing stuff together. Not the fact that he was a great provider.
And there was something before this whole recording, I really wish we were recording before. Before this whole recording started, there was something that you said where you said, okay, let me scrap that. But there are certain things that a particular person will do. And so let's say, for instance, especially when it comes to monetary sacrifices, I remember that there was a time that, I don't know how to put it. So I'm so careful because this is like my family. But I'm so careful. But I remember that my brother was, when my dad passed, my siblings, my mom was taking care of me. Then there was a point that she was not financially able to. So my siblings had to take upon the responsibility of taking care of me, right? Then it just felt like my eldest brother was doing it out of obligation, such that I did not feel loved by him. So it was like, I owe you. Like, I don't know how to explain it beyond this, but the fact that most times when we are not able to feel their presence, even when they do certain things for us, we begin to feel like the things that they do for us are not out of care for us, but out of duty.
Okay.
And I don't think many people want things to be done for them out of duty. I think we appreciate things more when it is done for us based on you genuinely care about me.
Okay, so I don't feel like in this scenario, I don't feel like your brother did not genuinely care, but I feel like
I don't want to be detailed. That's why.
Yeah, I know,
yeah.
I know, but I feel like, and it happened to me. I feel like many guys in our generation became fathers when they were not prepared for it.
Well, that's true.
Fatherhood takes a lot of preparation. mental preparation, more than even financial preparation. It takes a lot of mental preparation. I think it's just this part of the world where people get married and they're expected to have kids. Like when people get married, next thing you're saying, in the next 9 months, you're coming for child dedication. That's madness. To be honest, that's madness. Stepping into fatherhood or motherhood takes a lot of responsibility. So you need to pause and think about it before doing it.
Yeah, so for my brother, I don't think I saw him as a father because since my father died, to be honest, I don't think that anybody can fill the role of a father, no matter how much anybody tries. I'm not interested in anybody replacing my father.
Yeah.
Because nobody can replace my father.
No, I get that. I
Right,
get that. But
so-
I feel like I'm not.
But when
I don't.
you said-
I don't know.
no.
I don't know your brother, right?
No. So like I'm trying to say that when you said though that, I think even though he wasn't my father, he might have felt at some point that he had to father, like he had to take up because he was the firstborn. Not only was it, we're in Africa, he was the firstborn, he was the first son. So I think there were so many responsibilities that he had to carry on
That he wasn't ready for.
that he wasn't ready for.
So you can't fault him because he also needed a father. And
I think that's something I'm beginning to understand.
yeah, because he also
That's
needed
something I'm
he
beginning
also
to
needed a
understand.
father, and he was stepping into the role of a father without nobody considering the fact that he also needed somebody to be a father to him.
That's I think so there was a point I was thinking about this whole thing and about how it has affected a number of things, right? And then I realized that every one of my siblings, as much as I needed a father, I also needed a father.
Yeah.
So it gave me the opportunity to extend grace to them because now I understand that I say I wanted a father. I say I needed somebody by my side, but they also were probably in that same shoe. So as much as we are saying that, so I'm just trying to think about how we can now tie everything together, right? So if we're saying that fatherhood is a responsibility, if we're saying that fatherhood is about being present, what happened to people who did not have a good example? How can they learn? Because there are still people who, while they don't have a good example, they just believe that they are fine. While they don't have the best templates, they believe that they would be good. So how then can we now ensure, or like, take the words off my mouth?
Okay, so if I'm getting what you're asking correctly, is for those who are not privileged to have fathers
Yeah.
or present fathers, how do they navigate life, right?
Or how do they themselves become better fathers?
Better fathers. So I feel like, and it has nothing beyond just fathers, beyond being a father. I feel like generally, anything you know you lack for the next generation, build yourself to be able to give that. So I'm going to use myself as an example now, right? And I'm only saying this because you spoke about your dad and all of that. I'm from a broken home, right? One of my biggest goal, and when I say one of my biggest goal, if you give me $100 billion,
You pick this goal over
I'll
the
pick
100
this
billion.
goal over
Oh,
100
wow.
billion. The goal is very simple. The goal is I will never have a broken home. So everything that is going to take me never to have a broken home, I am willing to do. Right? So if you don't have a present father, everybody has a father because you are coming from someone's lungs. Everybody has a
It's
father.
either you know him or you don't know
it's
him.
either you know him or, but the moment your father is not what you want and you know how that feels, try your best to make sure your child never know what that feeling is. And the only way you can get to that is get a community. Get a community. I feel like the best place, and this is not cliche, I'm not trying to be cliche or trying to sound wise. So let everybody get it now. I'm not trying to sound wise, right? Why the church is very important for Christians, because everybody here is not Christian, right? Why the church is very important is the only perfect father, the only person who is a perfect father is God. And the one place where you get to know that perfect father is church. I'm not saying church people are normal. Don't get me wrong. Do you understand? I'm not saying church people are normal.
Most church people, I don't know what.
Church people are not normal. Let's be honest. They are not okay. Because church is a hospital. All kind of sick people come there.
Sure.
Right? But the best place for you to know about a perfect, for you to be introduced, not know, because you will get to know him on your own level, because how he works is he comes to your level and reveal himself to you.
Yeah.
Right? But where you get introduced to this father is church. I don't like to sound like a pastor or whatever, right? Or a holier than thou person, because I'm also getting to know this person.
Father.
But if you know him, there's something called renewal of the mind that we talk about as Christians. The more you get to know him, the more he renews your mind, the more he makes you see things differently. I can speak about a present father because I serve a present God. Who is not a God factor as a superior spiritual being that I cannot see, but he is a father that I have a relationship with and I communicate with. And he doesn't speak to me with my sinful nature, but he speaks to me through grace.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I feel like community is a good place. Church is a good place. Surrounding yourself with healthy and sane people.
Not wounded soldiers who don't want to heal.
I said healthy and sane because some people are healthy but they are not sane. And some people are sane and not healthy. Do you understand? Healthy and sane people. And this has nothing to do with Christianity or whatever. People who have good spirits, who don't paint everything in negative light. People who when you put them in a negative situation, they can see positivity out of that negative situation. Do you understand? Good people. There's a saying my dad used to say. He says, a child who doesn't have a father goes and listens through the window of those that has fathers. And most times, that child takes their advice and implements their advice better than the ones that have fathers.
So if you don't have a father, you're not at a disadvantage.
They're not. They're not, because fatherhood is not, like we said, not a title, it's a responsibility. And it's not a gender thing. Because for some people, their father is actually their mother.
You don't need confuse also.
It's not a gender thing. Fatherhood is not male or female.
How do you mean?
Example, for people who lost their dad, their mother stepped into the role of being a father and a mother at the same time. And that's why we celebrate strong women when we do Mother's Day.
Father's Day?
No, Mother's Day most times. Because the Nigerian mentality is Father's Day is for men and Mother's Day is for women. The same way there are many men who played the role of mothers in the life of their children.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So for me, the day we celebrate Mother's Day is not a gender thing. It's not.
It's a responsibility.
It's a responsibility. Fatherhood and motherhood, those are responsibilities.
Okay. That's really deep. It's really deep.
It's not that deep.
It is deep. It is deep. It is deep.
So why I said it's not that deep is because that's how it should be. It's just like in this country now when we celebrate when we have light for 24 hours. It's the norm. If people really thought about what parenting is, we will step into it carefully. The only reason why I can speak this way is because I've experienced the positive and the negative side of bad parenting. Do you understand? So, I don't know.
Wow. I like how, to be honest, when we started the conversation, I wasn't sure what direction to go to, but I'm so glad that we went to this direction.
Okay. Now this awkward silence. Now look, I see there's something.
No. Like you said so much. You said so much that I am having to think about. Right. So when you say parenting, it's not something that we should rush into, but something that we need to take our time to go into. I think that's so profound, right? Because when we think about it, it's bringing somebody into this world, and you're bringing a whole human being.
Full generation.
Do you get?
Like full
So
generation.
it's a conscious effort, and I think when you also say that community, that they need to be willing to. We need to be willing to learn, and learn from good examples, and have sane
and healthy people.
and healthy people in our lives.
Yes, we need it. It's very important.
That was so deep. So if you were to say just one thing to the man growing up, to one man, just one thing to one man growing up with or without a father, or let me rephrase, if you were to say just one thing to somebody who did not have the opportunity of having a good father as an example, what would you say to him?
The same thing I say to myself. And I'm not saying I don't have a good father, right? But my father is not perfect. The same way every father out there is not perfect. Right? But to the best of your ability, be a better version of what you have. Because if we're truthful to ourselves, we know the things that our fathers are not able to provide, be it emotional care or covering or whatever, right? We know. They may not know, but we know. You that the child that is receiving.
Yeah, they won't feel in the void.
Right, yeah, you know. So every place you feel that void, every place you feel that emptiness, make sure your child doesn't feel it.
Now, I'm having a question. You know how people have different needs? What if the void you're trying to fill is different from your child's need?
Okay, so let's say your father provides, which is like, now it's not general census that father should provide, which is something we'll talk about later. But let's say your father provides, right? Your father secures, but your father struggles with understanding your emotional needs. And which I feel like is something they do to most of the male child.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People feel like just women are emotional. Men are more emotional than women.
I will not be shocked.
Men are more emotional. Go do your research. Men are more emotional than women.
I like the sound of that. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah, so, but most times you ignore the male child because you feel like they don't have emotional needs and all of that. If you can connect to your child emotionally, you have filled a lot of void. If I can connect to you emotionally, you will find it easy to express yourself without fear.
True.
Many of the relationships we have with our parents at the tender age is fear-based relationships.
Yes, I agree.
Where you don't tell your parents a lot of things. You just exist, but they don't know you. Sometimes our parents push their expectations on us without knowing what we want to do. Like for me, myself, I knew that in the earlier part of my life, in my teenage time, I didn't know what I wanted to become in life. I had no idea. Because my dad had expectations of me that I was trying to live up to, that I knew I would never live up to. Because that expectation is another man's expectation for me.
Yeah.
But since I stepped into where I knew myself, I knew what I want, I can say he's proud of me.
That's a good
Right?
thing.
So just know that place, that vacuum you feel, and start from there. Generation differs. We're in a generation where spanking a child is no longer a thing.
Yeah.
Right? So if you don't know how to communicate properly with a child, there's going to be a problem. I don't know who said something about spanking a child. I don't know. There's someone who said it, and I said, "Do you know that silence can be more punishment than actually flogging a child?" Think about it. When we were kids, our parents flogged us, and it was painful. We now grew up, got into a relationship, and your partner keeps quiet,
And you want to faint.
and you want to die. Do you understand? So just start from there. Start from those little places where you feel that emptiness. Work on it. Make
Yeah.
sure your child doesn't feel that same emptiness. And fatherhood is a process. It's something you learn on the job. It's just like when people say marriage is the only institution that you don't come out with a certificate, because you keep learning on the job. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you so much, Wisdom.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I like this conversation.
You like it?
It was sweet. It was sweet.
I'm happy that at least we have it on camera.
Yes, it was sweet. It was a sweet conversation. And please, if you have like a different opinion, please put it on the comment section. We
Yes, please.
don't know everything. We're just
Yeah.
saying our own 2 cents, what we know,
Yeah.
right?
He
So
just shared his 5 billion
Yeah.
cents.
like 2 cents.
And I listened to the 5 billion cents.
Check this woman. Check other videos. You see
I
that.
only have 0.5 cents.
Check other videos. You will
I think
see
our-
well of knowledge.
Like,
Because of you, I wore this shirt. I wore behind the shirt.
Mm-hmm.
It said information is not knowledge. Because of you, I wore it.
Wisdom is very good at whining, just in case you're seeing this. So, not to deep anything we talk. Not to deep.
Make I put the jacket. Make I show them.
No need. We no need.
I for show them. I did the back of the shirt.
Thank you so much, Wisdom.
Thank you.
And
for
thank you
having
so
me.
much for watching till the very end.
Yeah, it's a very long episode.
Yes, it is. Have a wonderful week, guys. Bye bye.